Hare Krishna. Let us begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lalita Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. Welcome back, everyone. We are discussing wisdom of Srimad Bhagavatam. And last week, we covered the overview of the first canto. And today, we are going to start from the first chapter. But before we jump into the first chapter, let us briefly look at, we are not going to read the entire preface and the introduction, but there is one important point that comes in preface, which we should focus on, which is about how to study Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you all go to the Srimad Bhagavatam book that you have and go to the preface, and there in this on the second page of preface, we have a paragraph that we are going to read. Someone wants to read? I can let you know which paragraph. It says, Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the definition of the ultimate source. Yes, Kirtivanta Prabhu. It's on the second page of the preface, third paragraph from top. Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the definition of the ultimate source.
Srimad Bhagavatam begins with a definition of the ultimate source. It is a bona fide commentary on the Vedanta Sutra by the same author, Srila Vyasadeva, and gradually it develops into 9 cantos up to the highest state of God realization. The only qualification one needs to study this great book of transcendental knowledge is to proceed step by step, cautiously, and not jump forward haphazardly, as with any ordinary book. It should be gone through chapter by chapter, one after another. The reading matter is so arranged with the original Sanskrit text, its English transliteration, synonyms, translation, and purport, so that one is sure to become a God-realized soul at the end of finishing the first 9 cantos.
Okay, thank you very much, Kirtiyanta Prabhuji. So here, Srila Prabhupada is clearly saying that how Bhagavatam should be read. Srimad Bhagavatam should not be read haphazardly. Srimad Bhagavatam should not be read in a way that you are jumping from first canto to 10th canto to or 12th canto. Nothing like it. Sometimes the devotees are quite eager to go to Krishna Katha and they jump to 10th canto. And especially some who are even eager to go to directly the Rasa Panchadhyaya, where the Rasa Leela of Lord Shri Krishna with his gopis, that is explained. But Srila Prabhupada is saying that this is not the proper way of studying Srimad Bhagavatam. The proper way of studying Srimad Bhagavatam is we have to go sequentially. We have to go systematically in sequence. And that is how the Srimad Bhagavatam has to be read. So he clearly says the only qualification. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the glorious Puran. It is a spotless Puran, and it is the best in the creation that is there for all of us. So when something like this is available, something very best is available, there could be lots of qualifications required for reading it or getting into it. For example, if there are the best colleges and then there are so many entrance exam that you have to give, and then even the entrance exam, there are only top 10 or 12, about here, top 100 people in that entrance exam can only enter a particular college. But here, Srimad Bhagavatam is the best, but the entry criteria is very simple. What? We have to, what the only qualification one needs to study this great book of transcendental knowledge is to proceed step by step, cautiously, and not jump forward haphazardly as with an ordinary book. This is what is required. Very simple. We have to actually go step by step, go from first canto, first chapter, first verse, then go to the second, go to the third, like that. You read the first chapter, then you go to the second chapter, like that. You can actually complete reading first canto, then go to the second canto. Sequentially, step by step, we have to read. This is the only qualification required to read and study Srimad Bhagavatam and grasp that what is there. There are few more tips Srila Prabhupada gives when we go to the second verse, that how to study Srimad Bhagavatam, and we'll cover those. But the first instruction Srila Prabhupada has given in his preface is that we have to go sequentially, step by step, and then that is how Srimad Bhagavatam will become accessible to us. And the reason is simple. There are some esoteric pastimes which are coming up, and we are not pure enough. So Srimad Bhagavatam, if it is read from beginning, as it is mentioned, Srimad Bhagavatam purifies. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. So whatever is abhadra which is there in our heart, that will slowly get purified when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So by the time we come to the 10th canto and we are reading Lord Shri Krishna's pastime, we are sufficiently purified to understand them. We already know by then that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is completely independent. He is completely the cause of all causes. He is the complete enjoyer, and we are just a tiny parts and parcel. We can't imitate his leelas. So that understanding we are going to get in the first 9 cantos. And then when we go to the 10th canto, we can actually relish those pastimes nicely. And we will not feel envious of Lord Shri Krishna when he is enjoying with gopis, because he is independent and he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is Vibhu, we are Anu. So all of this knowledge will be available to us. We would have understood it, and then we will go to those pastimes. So we are coming to now the first chapter. Okay, and sorry, before going there, the introduction. The introduction. Introduction is like just like Bhagavad Gita's introduction. Srimad Bhagavatam's introduction is as well is like a book in itself. If you look at that, how many pages of introduction Srila Prabhupada has written? Many people will write that much just on Srimad Bhagavatam, the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. And very interestingly, most of that introduction, Srila Prabhupada writes about Sri Chaitanya's Leela. So while we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, even before we start reading Srimad Bhagavatam, he is asking us now and preparing us that after reading Srimad Bhagavatam, there is another uh, important scripture that we have to go and read. So he's giving us a trailer. So the next movie's trailer, just like when you go for a movie, they will show a movie, but there will be also a trailer for the some other upcoming movie. So similarly here, this upcoming scripture, like the next scripture that we have to study after Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that is why he's creating this curiosity, he's creating that interest for all of us, so that after this we will now go into Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is what Srila Prabhupada is doing. We are actually in this case, we are not going to go through that entire introduction, but my sincere request to all of you is to read this brief biography of Lord Chaitanya, which is given, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by Srila Prabhupada in the introduction. And that way, it will be, you will understand, like if you haven't read Chaitanya Charitamrita yet, then just by reading that introduction, you will get the entire understanding of his pastimes as well as his important teachings. Srila Prabhupada has also covered his important teachings in that introduction. Okay, so we are now on first chapter. The first chapter is entitled Questions by the Sages. Now, this first canto has 19 chapters and 808 verses. And this first chapter, Questions by the Sages, has 23 verses. And we'll try to cover this chapter in two sessions. Only for this chapter, because the first three verses are quite important, we are going to spend a lot of time. Most probably the entire session today will go into these first three verses. But in general, after this, we will try to cover at least one chapter in a session. That is how we will try to go. If there are some other important verses come, then we may take little longer, and then that chapter may go more than one session. But otherwise, in general, we'll try to cover one chapter in 2 hours. Now, when I'm speaking, most of the time, most of the point which I speak about, they will be coming from directly Srila Prabhupada's purport. But apart from that, as I mentioned last time, I'm also referring to this Bhagavad Subodhini, uh, which gives very systematically that how the chapters are, like what are the sections in the chapter, as well as what are the important verses, important points. So that is given. The other book that I'm referring to is Unwilling the Lotus Feet by Bhurijan Prabhu. So Bhurijan Prabhu has, like when he has written this book, now for example, this book is for four cantos, canto 1 to 4. And while writing this, he has covered the commentaries of Sridhar Swami. He has covered the commentaries from Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So I'm not that intelligent to actually read all of these commentaries. So I'm relying on the other intelligent devotees, great devotees who have already studied, assimilated that knowledge, and put that into the book. So I'm just reading that part so that I get understanding from all these books, and then I can share some important points from there as well. So these are the three books that I am referring to. Srila Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam is 80-90% is what we are going to speak from, but we will take few points from Unveiling the Lotus Feet as well as the flow and everything that is given in the Bhagavad Subodhinis. So let us see now what is the flow of chapter 1. So this chart, those who have Bhagavad Subodhini, they can immediately recognize that it is coming from the Bhagavad Subodhini. So the 23 verses, how they are, how this flow of chapter 1 is going. So the first three verses of chapter 1 is the introduction. It is a prelude. So the first verse gives the definition of absolute truth. The second verse glorifies the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the third verse invites all of us to relish Srimad Bhagavatam. And then from fourth verse onwards, then it talks about how in Naimisharanya, the Shaunakadi rishis, they were assembled to perform sacrifice to satisfy the Supreme Lord and Lord Shri Krishna. Sorry, Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and his devotees. So one fine day, then they offer seed to Suta Goswami, glorify him, and they ask him various questions. So in from verse 9 to 23, they talk about how in Kali Yuga, the people have less intelligence, less fortunate, and all of the problems of Kali Yuga. And so they ask these questions and say that give us the essence of all the knowledge. They are very eager to hear. they express their eagerness and they ask these questions for, of course, their benefit, but mainly from their, like that conversation, they are asking for the benefit of all of us, all people in Kali Yuga. So that is how this chapter is going to flow. So the first verse here, chapter 1, text 1, it starts with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So here it is mentioned, first line of the scripture is saying that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. So so Vyasadeva is offering his obeisances to Bhagavan. Who's Bhagavan? Vasudev. Vasudev, who appeared as a son of Vasudeva and Devaki, that is Lord Shri Krishna. So he is offering his obeisances to Lord Shri Krishna. In this first verse, 1.1.1, he is going to introduce and define the absolute truth. But before that, he's saying that that absolute truth that I'm describing in the first verse, that is that is the same as Lord Shri Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, as we all know, the preliminary study on the spiritual path is Bhagavad Gita. And then once we have actually gone through Bhagavad Gita, then we can actually get into the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has already mentioned all of this. Krishna has said that Aham Sarvasya Prabho, that everything in this material world is emanating from me. He has also said Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya, that there is nothing in this world that is superior to me. So he is the ultimate. He has also said that this Prakriti is controlled by me. Maya Dakshena Prakriti, Suyate Sacharachara. And then this Brahman is also, I am the basis of this Brahman. Brahmano him pratishtaham. So he has already said that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So all of this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Vyasadeva has put into one line. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. And then he continues. So Srila Prabhupada, when he starts this purport, he talks about how Lord Shri Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He quotes uh, Brahma Samhitas, Samveda, then Krishna Sandarbha. So many scriptures he refers to. Jiva Goswami's commentary that he refers to in the first paragraph, he talks about how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then he also glorifies Srimad Bhagavatam. So on page 45, if you go, then on that page, he says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that this Bhagavatam is spotless Purana. So if there is something very beautifully done, like a white paint on a wall, but there is one spot, some black spot somewhere, then even though there is all white, people don't see that white nicely done. They see that black spot. Because that is the mentality of Kali Yuga. We are immediately attracted towards the defects, some problems. We are not attracted towards all the good things which are around that problem. We are just attracted to that one black spot. So other scriptures, even though they give some glorification of the Supreme Lord, there are some good things there. But there are a lot of spots there because it also talks about the worship of devatas. Then it talks about impersonal Brahman a lot. It talks about sense enjoyment, how you can get sense enjoyment. It talks about all the other material knowledge and all other things as well. But Srimad Bhagavatam is not like that. Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't give the devata worship. It just focuses on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the bhakti, the devotional service to the Lord. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says this is a spotless Puran. There are no spots on it. You can't find defects in Srimad Bhagavatam. Then the second glorification Srila Prabhupada talks about is that Srimad Bhagavatam was written in the maturity of by Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva had already written so many other scriptures before. First of all, there was one Veda. that knowledge, Veda knowledge, he actually edited and put into classified the similar verses, and then he created four branches of Vedas, which is Sama Veda, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda. So to make it easy for the people in Kali Yuga to understand that knowledge, so he did that. Then he also wrote 108 Upanishads because he understood that it is very difficult for people to even study Vedas and then get the essence. So he wrote these small Upanishads, but they were also 108. Then he wrote 18 Puranas. Then also he wrote Vedanta Sutras, Mahabharata, in which Gita is there. But still he was not satisfied. So that is when Narad Muni came. We saw in that overview last week that how Narad Muni guided him, and then he wrote uh, Srimad Bhagavatam. And that is where he has glorified Krishna exclusively, and he has given up the Kaitava Dharma, all the cheating religion he has given up, and he just focusing on the devotional service of the Supreme Lord, so that people are guided properly. And that is why it is said that this is the best, because the author himself was unsatisfied by writing all the other scriptures. And when he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, he felt satisfied. He felt that now his work is complete. So that clearly shows that Srimad Bhagavatam is the crest jewel of all the scriptures. So that is how Srila Prabhupada glorifies Srimad Bhagavatam. And that is when we will now start with this, the verse itself. This is also, as I mentioned, this is a verse that we should memorize. The first three verses we should memorize. So what we will do is also, after reading the verse, I will ask someone else to also repeat. Okay. So anyone keen to repeat? I will read the verse completely, and then in the second time when we are doing it, you can repeat it afterwards. Okay. So the first verse, Gaurachandra Prabhu and Mataji, one of you can do, and the second verse, Sudanma Prabhu or Sudharma Mataji, you can do along with me. जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेणे ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परम धीमहि. Gaurachandra Prabhu.
Hare
You're
Krishna.
or Mataji, you're comfortable doing that yourself, Mataji, or do you want
Yes.
to? Okay, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadhasya yatonvayaditartashchartheshvabhiज्ञास्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरया तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि.
Thank you, Mataji. If possible, try to follow the tune that we are talking about. Then it will become easier for everyone to actually just focus on one tune and then memorize it in that tune. Otherwise, our mind gets confused. Okay, fine. Thank you. So this verse is defining the absolute truth. It it is a long purport Srila Prabhupada has given, but it's a very beautiful purport. So what I have done is I have classified them uh, like all the points which are given by Srila Prabhupada with these 7 points. That the absolute truth, and these 7 points are also given in the Bhagavad Subodhini. That how the definition of absolute truth and what are the characteristics of the absolute truth. So this verse is actually talking about the Sambandha Gyan. So all the scriptures or any scripture that you take, they are either talking about Sambandha, Abhideya or Prayojana, or all of it together, or some combination of these three. What is Sambandha? Sambandha talks about what is our relationship with the Supreme Lord. But before we talk about the relationship, we need to understand who am I? Who is the Supreme Lord? Only then we can actually talk about what is our relationship with the Supreme Lord. So the verses like Aham Sarvasya Prabho or Matta Parataram Nanyat, all of those verses that we saw in Bhagavad Gita, or this particular verse defining the absolute truth, is giving sambandha. It is telling us who's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and these are some of the things that you can understand about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then in relation, we can understand who we are. So it is said that Krishna is independent. So Krishna is Swarat. But then we understand that, oh, we have some little independence that Krishna has given us, but we are not supremely independent. So we understand that we are subservient to Krishna. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I am servant of him. So that relationship is established in this first verse. That is Sambandha. What is Prayojana? Prayojana means what is the ultimate goal? What I want. If I actually read this scripture, if I do this process or whatever, what am I going to get? What is my goal? What is it that I want to achieve for which I'm trying to do this? That is Prayojana. So in our case, the Prayojana is that we want to develop love for the Supreme Lord Krishna. Now that love is already there in our heart originally, but it is covered now. So we want to uncover that love for Godhead. So that is our Prayojana. And this is our Sambandha, this is our Prayojana. So how can we actually go from where we are to where we want to go? That process is called Abhideya. So Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. So the first verse here is talking about Sambandha, the second verse about Abhideya, and the third verse is talking about Prayojana. So let us look at our Sambandha, or our relationship with the Supreme Lord. So this verse is talking about Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the first of two words, Janmadhyasya, they are saying that Krishna is the cause of all causes. Janma means creation. Adi means it is talking about maintenance and destruction. So the word, the creation of the world, as well as maintenance and the destruction, who's the cause? In Janmadhyasya. So Krishna is the cause of all these three. And Srila Prabhupada talks about in the purport, he says that it is natural to have inquiries about our origin. And he talks about when we look at when at the night time we look at the stars, then we think that, oh, where did the stars come from? So these inquiries, this inquisitiveness that we have, it is the special characteristic of a human being. It is natural to have inquiries like this. And then it is immediately mentioned that these inquiries are answered that who is the origin of all this creation, maintenance, and destruction? That is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. He is the creator, he is the maintainer, and he is the destroyer also. We, jivas, are very tiny particles. We still have the ability, and Srila Prabhupada gives this example, we have the ability to create some tiny satellites and throw them into the orbit. And those satellites remain in the orbit and then keep giving a lot of information to us. So imagine that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, is supremely powerful and he has unlimited intelligence. With our tiny brain, we are able to throw the satellites and then keep them there and get some information. With Supreme Lord being the supremely intelligent person, why won't he not be able to create big planets and then make them float into the orbit? So that is how the creation has happened. The Supreme Lord has done that. Then it is said, Yatonvaya itaratas chartheshu abhidnya. So I'll mute. Okay, someone was speaking something. So cognizant, he is the cognizant. Abhidnya means he knows everything. And Anvayat means directly, and Itaratas means indirectly. So directly and indirectly, he is cognizant of everything. And Srila Prabhupada gives an example of a chief engineer. So chief engineer, even though he is not directly involved in the construction on the site, So it is not that he is going and fitting the nut bolt, or he's pouring the concrete or whatever. But still, he knows everything that is happening on the site. So either he's directly involved in taking some decisions, or he's indirectly involved because he has created that hierarchy by which he gets the reporting. He gets to decide what to do and what not to do. So he's directly and indirectly involved, like the chief engineer. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he doesn't get involved in this material world directly. He employs other devatas, but he still knows everything about this world, just like the chief engineer knows. So that is how he is cognizant. He is aware of everything. Actually, everything in this world is coming from him. We can see that everything that is happening in this world, and Srila Prabhupada also gives this point. Komal Mataji, if you can keep yourself mute, please. I have muted you now, but then it will not disturb others. Thank you. So everything in this world is coming from the Supreme Lord. Everything in this world is actually interaction between the material energy and the jivas, the spiritual spark. And both of these, whether it is material energy or these material things or the spiritual spark like us, both of us are coming from the Supreme Lord. So everything in this world is coming from him. That is why he knows everything. Also, the other point Srila Prabhupada raises in the purport is this entire universe is like the body of the Supreme Lord. Why? Because see, this is the material body, and inside that is the spirit soul. And the spirit soul knows everything about this body. Similarly, when the universe was created, the Karanodakshai Vishnu, he expanded, Mahavishnu, he expanded into Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Garbhodakshai Vishnu entered into each of the universe. So the universe becomes his body, and he is the soul within that body. And that is what we call universal form, or Virat Rupa. And this Virat Rupa will be described multiple times in Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is why this universe is his body. And just like when, say, suppose something is happening with the body, say, suppose somebody is pinching, and we already immediately know because this is our body. So similarly, anything happens in the universe because it is the body of the Supreme Lord, Lord knows about it. So that is how he is completely cognizant of what is happening in this material world and of course spiritual world. Then the third point is Swarat. He is independent. We all like to think that we are independent, but the only real independent person in this world is the Supreme Lord, Lord Shri Krishna. Krishna has given us a little, like, because we are minute particles, we also have some minute independence. That free will is given to us. But no one else is fully independent and fully cognizant. Abhidnya and Swarat. No one is there who is fully cognizant and fully Swarat. Srila Prabhupada gives this example on page 50. He says that some people say that, oh, the Lord is just like a watchmaker. So watchmaker is assembling everything, and then the watch gets like a working watch you get. But Srila Prabhupada says that that is not correct. Watchmaker is only assembling the parts, but the Lord produces everything. And not only that, his creation is very unique. And he gives the example that how the Lord has created the male and female forms, which keep on producing similar forms on their own without attention. So if humans can also produce such machines, which can produce other similar machines without any attention, and those machines can further create the similar machines, then we can say that we have approached the intelligence of the Supreme Lord. If we get the ability to do like that, then we can say that, okay, we have approached the intelligence of the Supreme Lord. But we know that it is not possible. Hence, the Lord is called Asamaurdhva. So Sama means equal and Urdhva means better. So there is no, and it is said Sama Urdhva. So there is no one equal or better than him. Everyone else is subordinate to the Supreme Lord, Lord Shri Krishna. That is why he is supremely independent. Then his enlightener, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. Adi Kavi here is Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma, when the creation happened, like Garbhodakshai Vishnu, we talked about earlier, and from his navel this lotus came, and Brahma was created there. And Brahma was confused. Who am I? What is my purpose? What is the duty that I have to do? So at that time, Garbhodakshai Vishnu gave him this knowledge. So Brahmanyana. So the Brahma here is not referring to Brahma. Adi Kavi is referring to Brahma, but Brahma here, Tene Brahma. Brahma is the Brahmanyana that he gave. So he enlightened Brahma with this knowledge. And this knowledge is available to us as well. We can also become Mahatma. Srila Prabhupada says that everyone can become Mahatma by receiving this knowledge which is available to us. Then it is mentioned that he is a bewilderer. He bewilders everyone. Muhyanti yat suraya. Even great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. Tejovari mridam yatha. As one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. So he is the bewilderer. And then it is mentioned that he is the factual basis. Vinimayo yatra tisargo mrisha. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by reactions of the three modes appear factual. So basically what these 2 points are mentioning are that the Lord has unlimited energies, but at very high level, it has two main energies or potencies. One, which is the internal potency, by which he manifests his own Swarupa, his Dham, and that is the real world. That is the internal potency, that is manifested by internal potency. And then there is external potency, by which this material world is manifested. And this material world is temporary and illusory. It is based on the interaction of the three material modes. And how it is illusory? It is like the mirage. Sometimes in desert, we see water, but it is just the reflection of the sunlight on the sand. There is no real water there. So it is only sand, but we see water there. But that doesn't mean that the real water does not exist. Real water exists, but it is somewhere else. Similarly, our experiences here in this material world are very illusory. We are spirit souls, but we think that we are bodies. That's an illusion. We are suffering here with 7 real problems. We have the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, we have Adhyatmika Klesh, Adibhautika Klesh, Adidaivika Klesh. But still we think that we are happy. Or we think that we will be happy in future. That's an illusion. But that doesn't mean that the happiness doesn't exist. Real happiness actually exists, but that exists in the spiritual world. And this material world is just a perverted reflection of the original blissful spiritual world. But the Lord is so powerful that even the sages and even the devatas, even Brahmaji also gets confused, even though he's the secondary creator. He also sometimes get confused, and we all know the Brahma Vimohan Leela. So the Lord is so powerful, his energies are so powerful that even such great people also become bewildered. And because of him only, all of these things, the material world, which is illusory, that appears factual to us. All of that is mentioned. And where does then it talks about the internal potency as well. The last point was Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. I'm referring to this Bhagavad Subodhini. It is on page 29. All of these points are explained, so that I'm referring to. So 7th point is Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. It is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from illusion. So this material world is full of illusion, like uh, the mirage that we talked about, the happiness that we talked about. We are a body that we are thinking that we talked about. All of this is only there in the material world. In the spiritual world, it doesn't exist. It is free from the three modes of material nature. It is free from illusion, and the Lord is eternally existent in this transcendental abode. So what all we saw about the absolute truth? First of all, Krishna is the absolute truth. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Then we talked about the 7 other characteristics, that he is the cause of all causes. He is cognizant of everything that is happening here. He is independent. He's completely a Swarat. Then he's enlightener. He's actually giving us this knowledge. He is also the bewilderer. And then he actually, because of him, we think that this material world is actually factual. So he's the factual basis of everything. And he is actually in his eternal abode in the spiritual world. All of that is mentioned. Now, interestingly, there is one point which is not directly mentioned, but we can understand from this the character. One other important characteristic that we can understand from this verse is that how the Supreme Lord loves us. How this material world is created for us. We had the desire to enjoy independently of Him, so He created this material world. Then the second point is He appeared as Krishna, as Vasudeva, as son of Vasudeva and Devaki, so that he can perform pastimes. So that is the second point by which we can see that how he loves us. Not only he has created material world for us, he also came himself to again encourage us to go back to the spiritual world by showing his pastimes. And the third very important point, which is mentioned in this verse, is that we are currently in this material world suffering. We are in illusion. Then he has explained that the spiritual world is free of illusion. And that is our original abode, that the Lord is staying there and we should also be going back. But not only that, to cross that gap from this material world to spiritual world, he has also given the spiritual knowledge. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. So he has given the spiritual knowledge to Brahma, by which we can also go from this darkness that we are in of illusion to light. From the illusion, we can go to the reality. From Maya, we can actually go to Krishna. So this same knowledge which he gave to Brahma was in the parampara given to Narada. Narada gave to Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva gave to Shukadev Goswami. Shukadev Goswami, when he was speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, it was heard by Sutta Goswami. And then it is getting into this book, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srila Prabhupada, another great devotee from the parampara, he has given us in the form of this English commentary so that it is accessible for all of us. So this is the compassion and mercy of the Supreme Lord and his devotees. So just like in wisdom of Bhagavad Gita, we used to have some practical things that we can learn. So whenever you see this slide, you can understand there is some practical point coming. So this is the wisdom of Srimad Bhagavatam from the first verse. Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the cause of all causes. He is cognizant of everything and he is independent. So we are understanding our Sambandha. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But very important point, other point which is relevant for us is that he is also very merciful and very loving. Why? Because he has given us the knowledge by which we can develop love for him and then attain his abode. If Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is not merciful or loving, then yeah, that is good that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's Swarat, he's independent and all of that. But how is that? What is in it for me? How is that useful for me? What is useful for us is that not only he's the supremely powerful, but he's also supremely loving towards all of us. So he, out of his love, wants us all to also develop love for him and go back to the spiritual world, where we can get the eternal happiness. And that is why he has given us this knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. He has performed various pastimes. He has appeared in this material world in different forms, performed various different interesting pastimes. And then those pastimes we are going to read here. We can also going to talk about how the devotees are developing and expressing their love through the various prayers, and that will also give us some realization, and then we can also progress on the same direction, in the same direction. So this is what is the first verse. Okay, let us go to the second verse now. The second verse is giving the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Let us recite this verse. As we discussed, it is a prayojan, it is a process. And that process is attentively and submissively hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. We have seen that the first verse had just mentioned that there is this material and spiritual energies are there, and the knowledge has been given by the Lord to cross over the spiritual, from material world to the spiritual world. This verse is talking about this book, Srimad Bhagavatam, is where this knowledge exists. And it is giving more information, more glories of this knowledge itself. So that is why it is prayojan, it is the process by which we can go back to Godhead. Let us recite this verse. Dharma projit kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaraणाम satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayonmoolanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute Kim va Parairishwaraha Satyorudhyavarudhyate Kritabhi Shushrushubi Stakshanat. Yes, Sudharma Mataji, Sudharma Prabhuji.
Sorry,
You want-
Prabhuji, before, can I ask a question? This is a process or we said it's a process, right? This
Yeah, Abhideya is a giving process.
Abhideya, right? Right. Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay. You want to read?
No, you did.
धर्म प्रोजित कैतवोत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयो उन्मूलनं श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परै ईश्वरः सद्यो हृदि अवरुध्यते त्रिकृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिः तत्क्षणात्.
Wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you. So these verses appear big, but they are very sweet. When you actually start reciting in that particular meter, then very soon you will find that you can memorize it. It is not very difficult to memorize. So you have to just recite it in this song meter. And actually in our brain, we have different areas where which actually helps us to memorize the songs. And there is a different area to grasp the text which is there. Like if there is a paragraph that we want to memorize, then there's a different area. So songs are very easy to catch, and that is why anything that you hear multiple times, any song as well, then immediately it gets caught. And even after 20-30 years as well, you'll remember those songs. Unfortunately, some of the Bollywood songs are still I can remember if someone starts singing, which are this 20-30 years old, and I'm thinking, oh, I actually used to hear them even before coming to Krishna consciousness. And even after say 20 years I haven't heard, still I can remember it. So that is the power of that brain part where this is stored. So if you actually try to recite this in a song way, then it can go, it is easy to memorize, as well as it will remain with us for a long time. Okay, so this we can do it in a song way. And I have already shared the link for the recitation done by His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. So you can also hear them, and then that is easy for you to memorize. Okay, so here as well in this verse, there are 7 glories of Srimad Bhagavatam are mentioned. First of all, it says Dharma Projita Kaitava. So it rejects the cheating religion, and we'll talk about these points in detail. And the second point is Paramo. Paramo. Paramo means it propounds the highest truth. Nirmat Saranam Satam. And Vedyam. So understandable by non-envious people. Then Vastama Vastu Shivadam. It distinguishes reality from illusion. And then Tapatrayon Moolanam. It uproots the threefold miseries. And Mahamani Krite Kimva Parair. It is compiled by Vyasadeva and is sufficient for God realization. And what is the need of any other scriptures? So this Srimad Bhagavatam itself, like this one scripture, is enough for God realization and developing the love for God. Ishvara Sadhya Hridya Avarudhya. So the Supreme Lord is established within the heart at once. So our goal is to develop the love for Godhead. So this book, if you actually read, study properly, then it establishes the Supreme Lord in our heart. Sadhya Hridya Avarudhya. And then Kritibhi Shushushubhi Tashanat. As soon as one attentively and submissively hears Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the key. How we have to study Srimad Bhagavatam. It has to be done attentively and submissively. If we do like this, then Krishna will be established firmly into our heart. So that is what will happen if we do Srimad Bhagavatam study. Now, interestingly, if you look at this verse, there are 3 times atra is used. Dharma projita kaitavotra atra. So, kaitavo atra. Then again it says Vedhyam vastavam atra. Atra means herein, in this scripture. Then again in the second last line it says Sadhyo Rudhya Avarudhya Tetra Atra. Again that Atra is there. And then it also talks about Srimad Bhagavatam as well. So not only 3 times it is said in this scripture, in this scripture, in this scripture, but somebody may get confused because if this verse is actually read separately, then they will say Atra means where, which book? So it also talks about Srimad Bhagavatam. So 4 times it says that all of this is available in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. That Srimad Bhagavatam rejects the cheating religion. It gives the highest truth. It is the Srimad Bhagavatam is understandable by non-envious people. Srimad Bhagavatam distinguishes reality from illusion. Srimad Bhagavatam uproots 3 miseries. It is sufficient for God realization. It establishes Lord in the heart. Why so much emphasis? 4 times. Atra, Atra, Atra and Srimad Bhagavatam. So as we know, this emphasis is given so that we can understand. We can understand this. And in anywhere, there are many other examples as well, where some words are repeated in the verse, in the shloka, to give some emphasis, to make it a point. It is not some defect in the verse. This multiple time any word is given to it. It is given to avoid any confusion. Are there any other verses that you can remember where the words are repeated to give emphasis? There are very famous verses.
Manmana Mahabhadbhato, where mom is done so many times.
Yes, that's right. So Manmana Bhavo Mad Bhakto Madhyajimam Namaskuru. There are say like 4-5 times Krishna says mom and mad like that. So he's saying that do it to me. So it is emphasized. Yes, Bhageshwari Mataji, which verse you remember?
It's also Kalai Nasteva Nasteva Gatiranyata.
Yes, very good. Harer Nama eva kevalam kalau nastaiva gatiranyata. So it is saying that in Kali Yuga there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. Only the holy name, only the holy name, only the holy name. So it is an emphasis given. Surananda Prabhu, was that the same verse that you were saying?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Any other verses that you remember where the words are repeated for emphasis?
No, Prabhuji.
Anyone else?
Prabhu yada yada dharmasya glani bhavati bhavat.
Okay, yada. Okay, fine. Kirtyanta Prabhuji?
Atkaro siyadna siyajuho siddha siyat.
Yeah, there's the words are repeated to say that whatever you do, give it to Krishna, give it to Krishna, give it to Krishna. Also, then we have this word sadhu sanga, sarva shastrik hoy, lava matra sadhu sanga, sarva siddhi hoy. So sadhu sanga, the association of devotees, is emphasized very much. So these repeated mentions of Atra or Srimad Bhagavatam in this verse is actually emphasizing that only Srimad Bhagavatam can give you this. When Srimad Bhagavatam is there is no other scriptures that we need to study after that. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada's purport interestingly starts with, if you see, the verse itself is not mentioned. आहार निद्रा भयमैथुनश्च सामान्य एतात् पशुभिर्नराणाम् धर्मो हि तेषाम् अधिको विशेषो धर्मेण हीना पशुभिः समानः. So Srila Prabhupada is making a point. He's saying just focusing on eating, mating, sleeping, defending means we are focusing on sense enjoyment, sense gratification only. And he says that this is animal life. It is the irreligious life that we have. Only when we introduce dharma, only when the dharma is introduced, then the human life begins. Dharma should take us to self-realization. Understanding, it should help us to understand what is our relationship with the Supreme Lord. That is self-realization. Self-realization is not that only realizing that I am Atma. Self-realization means I am Atma, who is the Supreme Lord, and what is our connection? That is self-realization. So Dharma should actually help us to come to this point of self-realization, developing love for Krishna. However, in this material world, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that everyone wants sense enjoyment. And because everyone is wanting sense enjoyment, there is competition between various people. So everyone is competing against each other for sense enjoyment. So that is why there is enviousness. So because they are competing, Kirtiyanta Prabhu, you have some question or comment, or your hand was from the previous answer that you gave?
No, I think it was from previous. Forgot to put it down. Sorry,
Fine.
Prabhu.
Okay. All right. So there is enviousness because of the competition, because the resources are there limited, and everyone is wanting to enjoy unlimitedly. So they are trying to lord over the material nature, and then they are competing with each other to grab more and more as possible. And that is where the envy gets created bit in this material world. And with the same mindset of enjoying more, people turn towards dharma. So can I get more sense enjoyment if I follow dharma? Are there any processes in the scriptures which I can follow to get some sense enjoyment? So with this mentality, they come to the scriptures. And with that mentality, then they find some pious activities, some karma kanda activities by which they can perform some religious functions to gain something material. So this is how dharma leads to artha. Artha means they will get some wealth, and that artha they will use for kama, for enjoyment. So dharma, artha, kama. So but this dharma which is mentioned is still not the highest, because that is leading to, it is only used for getting artha, and artha is used for kama. Now Srila Prabhupada gives a problem associated with this dharma, artha, kama, moksha steps. He says that if you are only interested in sense enjoyment, and that is why you are doing dharma, then as soon as you start getting these material things by some other process, you will give up dharma, which is what is happening now. He points out that currently in this day and age, the people are thriving economically because they are working in factories and whatever. And that is why they have given up dharma, because they think that I can get my artha from factories. So what is the need for doing dharma for me? So if the focus was on artha and kama, then dharma is left behind. So that is the problem with having the dharma for getting artha, and artha to use get kama. And he points out that hence that is the reason why the factories, shopping malls, and movie theaters are full of people currently, but the temple and churches are empty. So this shows, he says that this proves that the religion is mainly performed by people for economic gain. And then these are like this economic gains are needed for sense gratification. And one is when they get this economic gain, they will go for sense gratification. And when they are completely baffled in the sense gratification, then they think about moksha, self-realization. And their idea of moksha is also only that I'm suffering, how I can get out of this suffering. That is liberation. Liberation means liberating from these miseries or problems that I have. In this moksha as well, there is a problem because the focus is on ourselves. So all this dharma, artha, kama, moksha, these are all self-centered. And that is why it is mentioned that it is a kaitava dharma. Kaitava dharma means cheating religion. So Vedas actually give this is all the knowledge. Actually, Vedas are giving all the knowledge. It is giving the material knowledge as well as the spiritual knowledge. And Vedas specifically give the karma kanda activities or these pious activities so that people can get more regulated. And then the competition between people is reduced. So if they are more regulated, then the competition is reduced, then the enviousness that is there between each other, that will reduce, and they will slowly go towards the Supreme Lord. That is why Vedas give this. But finally, we can see that because if focus remains on sense enjoyment, then slowly the dharma will be left behind and people will just focus on artha and kama. Dharma and moksha will be gone and artha and kama will only remain. That is what is there in Kali Yuga currently. So Srimad Bhagavatam is different. It doesn't give the processes for sense gratification at all. It is completely transcendental. But it needs a qualification. And that qualification is we need to be free from competitive sense enjoyment mentality. We have to be free from envy. Because the envy and that competitive mentality is for our own self sense enjoyment. If we want to understand and get best out of Srimad Bhagavatam, then we have to actually remove our focus from ourselves and have focus on the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. And when we have focus on the Supreme Lord, then we become unenvious of each other and we become well-wishers of each other. So currently we are competing when the focus is on ourselves because we want to enjoy more and more. But when our focus is not on ourselves, our focus is on Krishna, then we become not only unenvious, but we become well-wishers of everyone. It is the opposite of enviousness, is that we become well-wishers of everyone. Envy means we want to, if somebody is progressing further, we want to pull them down. Why we want to pull them down? Because we are thinking that, oh, this enjoyment should be mine. Somehow or the other, this position has received by this person, or he has become, or she has become more wealthier than me. So somehow or the other, we want to pull them down. Or even in the spiritual path, that envy may come, that, oh, someone has become more advanced than me, or someone has become, he has got whatever, some specific mercy of the spiritual master or the Supreme Lord, or somehow or the other, then we become more envious. But that is not the devotee mentality. We have to be nirmatsaranam satam. Nirmatsar. We have to really give up the envy. We have to be well-wisher. If someone is well-wisher, then we would want them to progress more than, like more and more. And if you are really big well-wishers, then we will even want them to be progressing even more than you. And if someone is progressing, we will not be unhappy and envious, we will be happy. And then we will help them how they can progress further. That's well-wisher. So we have to be nirmatsaranam to actually enter deeper into the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. The knowledge in Srimad Bhagavatam can penetrate our heart if we are nirmatsaranam, if we have given up this envy. But the problem is, then somebody will ask, what if like we are not now free from envy yet? So is it then there is no point in reading Srimad Bhagavatam? Of course we can read Srimad Bhagavatam even if we are not nirmatsaranam. Why? As I mentioned earlier, nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Even if you are not nirmatsaranam, you are actually having the matsara, envy is there in your heart, jealousy is there in your heart. By reading Srimad Bhagavatam, studying Srimad Bhagavatam from the proper source, attentively and submissively, if you do that, then we will get purified and then we will go towards becoming a Nirmat Sarana. So Srimad Bhagavatam is a book which is not for one-time reading. Because once we read Srimad Bhagavatam, we would have become little bit more Nirmat Saranam. And Krishna will become more accessible to us when you start reading Srimad Bhagavatam again. So you will understand and realize Srimad Bhagavatam more because you have become more Nirmat Saranam. So 10 times you have read Srimad Bhagavatam, then you will become even more purified and you can understand it better. You will realize it more. So this is where this Shushrushubi Tat Kshanat is very important. We read Shushrushubi Tat Kshanat was we have to, as soon as one attentively and submissively hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So there is this culture of hearing should be there. We have to hear attentively and submissively. So that is, we talked about reject cheating religion. It doesn't give any cheating religion. It propounds the highest. It gives only the transcendental part, transcendental knowledge. And it is understood by non-envious people. It also says that it uproots the three miseries. So as long as we are competing with each other and focused on our own enjoyment, what is the meaning? The meaning is then we are going to be entangled in the reactions of karma. So any action we did, we want to enjoy the result. That means the result is going to come to you. That is the law of karma. And then that law of karma is going to keep you in this material world. And this material world is full of three miseries. So then we are going to be remain bound here. But if we remove the focus that we have on ourselves and put that focus on Lord Shri Krishna, he's at the center of all our activities. We become the servant of the Supreme Lord. Then we automatically become, and we do all our activities as an offering to the Lord. Then we become free from the reactions. If we have no karmic reactions, where are the threefold miseries going to come for us? We are going to become free from three miseries. This is a complete different mindset. When we are focusing on sense enjoyment, we want to control the material nature. We want that material property or material things for our own enjoyment. And for that, we want to lord over the material nature. So we want to control the material nature. But Krishna is the controller of the material nature. He said, Maya Dakshina Prakruti. That means we are competing not only with each other, but we are also competing with Lord Shri Krishna in a way. Because he is the controller and you want to become a controller. We want to become a controller. So we are competing with Krishna. So not only there is envy for each other, there is also envy for the Supreme Lord. When we are trying to earn artha more and more for us, for our own enjoyment, so that we can get kama, what we are saying is we are trying to acquire more and more Lakshmi. But the Lord is Lakshmipati. So again, we are trying to get something which is the property of the Supreme Lord. So we are competing with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Ravana wanted Sita for his own enjoyment. But what is the difference between Ravana and Hanuman? Hanuman wanted to free Sita so that Sita Devi can be with Lord Ram. So we need to actually move from Ravana mentality to Hanuman mentality. We want to actually see how we can use this Lakshmi or anything that is material that we have. How can I use it in Krishna's service instead of using it for my own enjoyment? How can I be the servant of the Supreme Lord? So Srimad Bhagavatam teaches this. It rejects the Kaitava Dharma, but it gives the highest Dharma, which is the Dharma of Bhakti Yoga, and how we can develop the love for the Supreme Lord. And by introducing Bhakti Yoga, it removes the threefold miseries. But someone will see that in many pastimes, we will see that many of the pure devotees, they are also going through a lot of difficulties. But here it says that uproots the three miseries. But where is that those miseries are gone then? Why then these devotees are suffering? If it's supposed to actually uproot the three miseries, then why people are still like even pure devotees are suffering? That's a question. Yes, Gaurchandra Prabhu or Mataji, Shama.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my understanding is that to show us common people how to react and how to act when those miseries hit us.
Yeah, very good, very good. Adi Devi Mataji.
Prabhu, sometimes it could also be prarabdha karma. That is.
So some prarabdha karma is still there in this body. So we are just like the fan is switched off, but the fan is still rotating. So that may be coming. Yeah, good point. Surananda Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll go similar to the first one. So they're setting examples for all of us.
Yeah, good. Rajiv Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think, if it's miseries, those are things that will happen in any case, right? Regardless of who you are. It's how you respond to it is what, probably realized folks teach us is how do they respond to it. And also application of Srimad Bhagavatam or Gita is more important than, showing that you're very pious. So
Yeah, wonderful, Rajiv Prabhu. Very good
thank
point you raised. Kritivanta Prabhu.
Yes, I think when we experience it, it's for our purification. It helps us to realize that this material world, when we experience that drop of honey, we think it's the best. So that is to help us realize this is not a permanent place. And for the pure devotees, it's for their glorification because we get to see the example of how they come through it.
Excellent, very good. Sudharma Mataji, Sudharma Prabhu.
It's more as a thank you Prabhuji, for the opportunity. It's more for like when we go through the miseries, it's a test by the Lord how strong we are to face the situation, and it's a learning for ourselves. And for pure devotees, they take that also as Krishna's mercy, even they go through the miseries.
Okay, very good. Important point that you have raised. Vidushi Mataji. We'll take that last point and we'll move on.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think it helps us remember Krishna more, just along the same point that Mataji raised at the end. It helps us remember Krishna more and also strongly. Because it's easy to kind of forget when you're all happy. So sometimes when you're in some difficulty, easier to remember.
Yeah, we run towards the Lord. Please help me. So we remember the Lord when we are going through difficulties. But that is not the case for the pure devotees. They are remembering the Lord always. So the reason is that why we see the devotees, the pure devotees are also going through the problems. All of the answers which you have given, they are right, that it is an example for all of us and all of that. But the most important part is, even though they are going through the difficulties, like the three miseries, how they have responded to it. Are they suffering? They are not suffering. So when we go through the difficulties, we suffer. So the miseries are there, but the suffering is missing for them. In fact, they see like these miseries which are coming, they see that as a mercy of the Supreme Lord. This is such a different idea for our tiny brain. And we are so, like, at least I'm so far away from that conception. That Narada Muni, he, like we saw in the overview as well, and we will see again in detail, that in his previous life, I'll mute others. Okay. Yeah. So Narad Muni in his previous life as a boy, he only had his mother to rely upon. But at the age of 5, his mother passed away. A serpent bit his mother and she died. And it is mentioned that Narad Muni saw that as a special mercy of the Supreme Lord. So he's not blaming the Lord there. He's not even going to the Lord saying that, oh, please take away this suffering, do something, find some other support for me. He saw that as a special mercy. Same with Parikshit Maharaj. We will see that how he was cursed for such a minor offense to die, like such a minor thing. When Shamik Rishi came out of his meditation, he saw this dead snake, he just removed it. He did not pay any attention because he thought, oh, this is something very minor. Of course, it is not the good thing, but and Parikshit Maharaj was already repenting for it. But giving him a curse that you are going to die in 7 days is is really difficult. It is like you broke the traffic light and then they are hanging you for that. It is such a minor offense, and you will say, hey, this is not even proportional. That I just broke the traffic. You can take this $100 as a fine, but why are you hanging me? Why are you killing me? So that should not happen. That shouldn't have happened. But Parikshit Maharaj actually just took it that as a mercy, and he thought that, okay, this is Lord's mercy and arrangement for me so that I can give up this attachment and completely get immersed in Krishna Katha. So the pure devotees, we see them like from our mental speculation, we are thinking that they are also going through these miseries, but there is no suffering. In fact, they see that misery as the Lord's mercy, and they are going closer to the Supreme Lord because of that. So as long as if any challenge in our life comes, if we go closer to the Supreme Lord because of that challenge, then our life is successful. Then there is no matter like whether there are miseries coming or whatever, it is always taking us towards Krishna. So this is what we actually can see from it. Anyway, I think we should move on. But before we move on, it is also said that this scripture is also if only Srimad Bhagavatam is there, that is sufficient for God realization. There is nothing else that is required. Why? Vyasadev. Vyasadev is Shaktyavesh avatar. He's the incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And in his maturity, he has given his best work for all of us. So all the other work that he has written, this is the crest jewel. So this has everything that is written in everything else and more. So that is why when we have Srimad Bhagavatam, there is nothing else that is required. Other books recommends the worship of devatas, but Srimad Bhagavatam focuses only on Krishna. And the thing which is required for progressing is Shushrushu. And there are some practical points that we will see as well. But okay, before we go ahead, is there a question, Prabhuji or Mataji? Gaurachandra Prabhu or Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I ask a question, or we can do it?
Go ahead.
Okay, so regarding this particular verse only, say, for example, if someone comes to us and they say that I'm a follower of Vedas and I believe in Dharma, Artha, Kam, and Moksha, and what is wrong in that? You know, at the end of the day, I'm still righteous. I'm still, going according to the Vedas. And, then one thing that the answer that comes in my mind is that simple answer that, okay, it will still bind you. You know, moksha is also not ultimately going to liberate you. But what is the other is it correct? First of all, is it the correct answer? And secondly, if I have to give more elaborated answer or more specific answer, then what can I tell such kind of person?
Yeah, I think Bhagavad Gita mentions to us earlier that when somebody is too entangled in material things, then it is very hard for them to भोग ऐश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तया अपहृत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि समाधौ न विधीयते. If someone is too much entangled in bhoga and aishwarya, for them it is too difficult to have vyavasayatmika buddhi, a single pointed intelligence to worship the Supreme Lord. So for them it is hard for suddenly come out of sense gratification and go somewhere else. So for them, what we have to do, so as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has done, we can just say that, okay, if you are pious, I'm giving you like some process, like eat Krishna Prasad, or just hear Krishna's name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra you can hear as a kirtan or whatever. Because that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered to anyone who was very new. So he said that, okay, you just chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra or hear the kirtan. Like that, we can introduce them to that. If they are interested in reading, then we can give them Srila Prabhupada some books, one or two books, smaller books, and that will prepare them for going further. And then when they are little bit ready, then we can take them through Bhagavad Gita and then Srimad Bhagavatam. But Bhagavad Gita also says that we should not disturb the people if they are already on this particular pious path, because we can use that piety to slowly direct them towards Krishna. But if we just say that, Array, this Vedic knowledge like Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha is there, and it is all, as Krishna says in the second chapter, it is the flowery language of Vedas, and you will not be successful, you will remain here or whatever, then it may disturb them and they will just reject whatever you are going to offer. So little later we are going to see how Srila Prabhupada defines what is realization. Actually, we will see very soon, probably in the next session itself. So Srila Prabhupada explains that realization means when we actually get the knowledge, if you are able to present that knowledge in a way which is suitable for your audience, that is realization. So this is what is we have to develop to see where the hearer is in front of us, like what level they are. And then based on that, we have to really give them the next step that they can follow and then can come closer to Krishna. We don't want to repel them by giving the highest philosophy, which is contradicting to their current philosophy. That is why when we introduce Krishna consciousness as well, we don't start with Srimad Bhagavatam. We start with Journey of Self-Discovery programs, where we say that this is the first level. We are not this body, we are spirit soul. Whether the God exists, what is the quest of human life, what is the law of karma. All of these initial basic foundational topic that we give, and slowly we will start building on top of it. So if someone is pious, we can invite them to the programs and then slowly give them, and they will clearly understand when they understand the law of karma, that whether they are doing pious activities or sinful activities, they still remain bound in this material world. And the idea is that we have to go out of the cycle of karma, which is possible through the process of yoga. And the highest process of yoga is Bhakti Yoga. And that Bhakti Yoga is given in Bhagavad Gita, but more elaborately described in Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the practical examples in like recent times is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that is how they can progress slowly towards that. Is that okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So, this Srimad Bhagavatam is glorified in 1.1.2, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also glorified this Srimad Bhagavatam. So there are 5 conclusive truths which are given in this verse, which very famous verse, which comes in Chaitanya Matta Manjusha. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesh Tanayas Tadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Va Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matamidam Tatra Darahna Para. So there are 5 conclusive truths which, as per Lord Chaitanya's opinion, it is given. So Lord Chaitanya's 5 conclusive opinions. First is who is worshipable, object of worship. Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha, Shri Krishna. So who is the object of worship? The conclusive truth is it should not be any other devatas. It has to be Lord Shri Krishna. What is the opinion of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the supreme dham or transcendental abode? It says Tad Dhama Vrindavanam. So Vrindavan is the ultimate dham. Then what kind of upasana we should do? Worship we should do? The worship which the gopis were doing, Vraja gopis, which were doing for the Lord Shri Krishna, that upasana is the highest. And what is the highest pramana? The spotless authority that is there. So he said, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. Amalam means no spots. And what is the highest goal? Artha. So Artha is prema or pure love of God. And this is Lord Sri Chaitanya's opinion. And Lord Chaitanya is no other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. So these are the 5 conclusive truths. That the Aradhya, the highest object of worship is Lord Shri Krishna. The highest, the dham is, the supreme transcendental dham is Vrindavan. The best worship is the worship of gopis that they offered to Lord Shri Krishna in Madhurya Rasa. And the best pramanam that is there is Srimad Bhagavatam. And the artha, the goal of life is prema, developing love of Godhead. So this is how the Srimad Bhagavatam is glorified. And we also saw in the first session that Srimad Bhagavatam is Granthavatara. When the Supreme Lord left this world, at that time, the question was asked, where did the Dharma took shelter of? So it is mentioned that Krishne Swadhama Upagate Dharma Jnana Dhibhi Saha Kalau Nashta Drushamesha Puranarko Dhunoditaha. That is, Srimad Bhagavatam is the sun. It is the sun which has arisen after the Lord has left this world, and that is where the Dharma has taken shelter. So this is Grantavatar. This is not different from Krishna. So that is why we say that when the Srimad Bhagavatam is there in your house, Krishna is in your house. So that is why this book is even worshipped on the altar, because this is not different from Krishna. So we have deities of Krishna. We can also keep this book into the altar and worship it. It is Grantha Avatar. Who has written it? Vyasadeva. He is a Shakti-avesha avatar. And who is described in this book? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. So this is a book which is Krishna. It is written by avatar of Krishna, and it talks about Krishna. So that is why Srimad Bhagavatam is just amazing. It is glorious. It is perfect. It is Amala. It is the best. And because it is like this, Srila Prabhupada in this purport has given some important points how to study it. So I have collated them here for benefit of everyone. So the first one is what we should understand. Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless scripture which can awaken our love for Lord Shri Krishna, and it can take us to Vrindavan. So we should understand this. Srimad Bhagavatam has that potency. Oh, okay, fine. The points are going to come a little later, so please hold on. Hold on your curiosity. I decided to move that slide after the third verse. Okay. So let us go to the third verse now. So we have to hear it attentively and attend it fully. So just like in this picture, we can see all of these sages, they are not taking any break. When they were discussing with each other, and Narad Muni suddenly didn't stand up and say that, hey, Vyasadeva, just take some notes for me. I'm going to go for a lunch break for 15 minutes. No, they were sitting there just like Parikshit Maharaj was sitting there for 7 days and 7 nights. They were also all sitting there for 7 days and 7 nights with very rapt attention, and they were attending that fully. So I would just request everyone that this wisdom of Srimad Bhagavatam that we are getting because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, please attend it fully, and that way we will get benefited fully. So don't keep any material motives, only the spiritual motives for these 2 hours. Ahaituki, without any motives, ahaituki, and apratihata, without taking any break, we should do, and we'll get benefited. Let us go to the third verse. Okay, we have sufficient time to discuss that. Very good. Nigama kalpatarorgalitam phalam shukamukhad amrutdrava samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. Who wants to recite? Okay, Surananda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Nigama kalpataro galitam phalam sukamukadamrutadrava samyutam pitapa bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavaku
Bhavukaha. Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. So this verse is inviting all of us. It is saying, come, taste the sweetness of the ripened fruit of Vedic wisdom. So it is an invitation for all of us. We talked about this is a prayojan. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the process by which we can get the love of Godhead, and relishing Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. So relishing Krishna is the goal. So developing this love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and whatever service we are doing for the Lord, relishing that is our goal. So developing love, offering service, and relishing it. So that is our prayojan, relishing Krishna Katha. So in the first session, Gauranga Darshan Prabhu had very nicely explained how the purest of the devotees, they have always asked for, I want to hear about Krishna, about you, O Lord, even when the Lord is standing in front of them. They have asked for, I want to hear about you from your devotees. So relishing Krishna Katha is the highest goal, because that is only possible when there is love for the Supreme Lord. So developing the loving devotional service and then hearing Krishna Katha is the prayojan. And this verse is specifically talking about Nigama Kalpa Taror Galitam Phalam. Nigama means Vedic knowledge, and it is compared to Kalpataru. Kalpataru means desire tree. So Vedas are like desire tree. Why it is desire tree? Because it gives all that is knowable for us. So Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, he says that it covers, so yeah, on page 58, he says that it covers all knowledge: social, political, religious, economic, military, medicinal, chemical, physical, metaphysical, so many things that it mentions. So apart from that, all this material knowledge, it also contains spiritual directions for self-realization. So the Vedas have everything. How you can get sense enjoyment, how you can get material knowledge, and also it talks about how you can get the spiritual knowledge. So it is a desire tree. It can give you everything. But the best, the Galitam Phalam, the ripened fruit, is the transcendental knowledge of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So this desire tree of the Vedic knowledge, it can give you this Galitam, this ripened, sweet, tasty fruit of love of Godhead. It is already sweet, but now something else has happened with that. Shuka Mukhad Amrut Drava Samyutam. So Shuka Mukhad Amrut Drava Samyutam. So Shuka is parrot. So Shuka is parrot, like in Sanskrit, the word Shuka means parrot. And when the ripened fruit is cut by the beak of a parrot, it is said that the flavor of that fruit is enhanced further. So similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam is already sweet, already it is transcendental, it is very relishable. But because now it is spoken by Shukadeva Goswami, who is compared to the parrot here, because he spoke it, it has become even more tastier, more relishable. Let us read this paragraph on page 60. Who wants to read? Page 60, the first part where it says the Vedic fruit which is mature. Yes, Parmendra Prabhu, start.
60, yeah.
Yeah, on page 60, yeah, it says that. Yes, Mataji? Sudharma Mataji?
Different page for us. I don't, which.
Yeah, it starts with in Sanskrit, the parrot is also known as Sukha.
Yeah. Okay, you can start from there. That's okay. There's just one extra line.
Prabhuji, page 60, we have a different one. It's text 7 for us. It's from Srimad Bhagavatam.
Really?
It's 54, Prabhuji, in the big book.
This one?
Yes, Prabhuji. This one, Prabhuji.
Okay. Oh, this is a different edition.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So you can read in Sanskrit, the parrot is also known as Shuka from there.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In Sanskrit, the parrot is also known as Sukha. When a ripened fruit is cut by the red beak of such bird, its sweet flavor is enhanced. The Vedic fruit, which is mature and ripe as knowledge, is spoken through the lips of Srila Sukadeva Goswami, who is compared to the parrot not for his ability to recite the Bhagavatam exactly as he heard from his learned father, but for his ability to present the work in a manner that will appeal to all classes of men.
What a fantastic point Srila Prabhupada is raising. Srila Prabhupada is saying that just like when in the material things that you see that parrot, it repeats whatever we actually say to them. So Shukadev Goswami is not a parrot like that, who just repeating what he has heard from his learned father, Vyasadeva. It is more relishable because he has the ability to present the work in a manner that would appeal to all classes of men, all classes of people. Yes, Swanubhavam Akhila Shruti Saramekam. We will see in the second chapter that verse. Very wonderful verse. Yes, Swanubhavam. He has realized this knowledge. And the definition of the realization that we just saw, that if we have realized this knowledge, you can understand the capacity of the person in front of you, and then you should be able to provide that knowledge in a way that it will be acceptable to that person. And that is why when Shukadeva Goswami is speaking this knowledge, even Vyasadeva and Narad Muni is also sitting in that audience, because it is even more relishable. They know that this knowledge is there, but Machchita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam. So they are actually relishing it. They are showing by that their own example what relishing means. Relishing means you can actually enjoy the same katha which is there in Srimad Bhagavatam from multiple different devotees, because we will learn something new from them. So that is how we can actually just continue relishing Srimad Bhagavatam. So Shukadeva Goswami has this ability to present the work in a manner that would appeal to all classes of men. That is why this fruit is even more tastier when it has come from the mouth of Shukadeva Goswami. Srila Prabhupada then continues in this next paragraph. He says, and this fruit is not that directly it has come down or thrown from the Goloka. It has not dropped directly from Goloka, but it has come down carefully through the chain of disciplic succession without change or disturbance. Because if it is like dropped, say from the top of the tree, if the ripened fruit falls down, then it will get broken and it cannot be consumed. But if there are multiple people sitting on the tree and they are just passing on, they are taking the fruit, they are passing down to the next person, and the person passes down to the next person. Like that, if it is passed down, then the fruit received intact at the ground. Similarly, this Srimad Bhagavatam has been passed down in a very good chain of disciplic succession. And that is why we can get benefited from it. Mataji, you have some question, or Prabhuji?
Is it okay to ask now, Prabhuji, or
Yes,
ask
Mataji.
later?
Yeah, go for it.
Prabhuji, just trying to understand, like Shukadeva Goswami, like we are hearing he is the realized soul from whom we have got Bhagavatam. But Vyasadeva, who is his father, he has written so many Upanishads, Puranas, everything, Mahabharatas, and at the end, he was directed by his Guru Narada Muni to write Bhagavatam. But he just listened to two verses, like from the disciples of Vyasadeva, and he came back, who was a personalist, and he became a realized soul who is now saying Bhagavatam. How we understand this? How we, like immediately it could transform him?
Yeah, so we will cover that very soon when we actually come to that past time, when or even the second chapter where Sutta Goswami is glorifying Shukadeva Goswami. Maybe there we can cover this further.
Okay.
So Shukadeva Goswami, even if he's like completely liberated soul, liberated person, he also gets attracted to Srimad Bhagavatam because it is so relishable. And when we are saying that hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the mouth of Shukadeva Goswami is very relishable, that doesn't mean that Srimad Bhagavatam is less relishable when it is not coming from Shukadeva Goswami. It is also already said that Nigamatal Karpataror Galitam Phalam, that because it is about Lord Shri Krishna, it is already sweet and ripened fruit of this. So it is definitely going to be attractive to even the liberated persons like Shukadeva Goswami. And that is the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. And it has become even more relishable because now Shukadeva Goswami has presented it in this particular way. So it is more. It is not, it is Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna. And when we are saying more, it is like infinite and more infinite, because it is absolute. So when we see it is more better than or more relishable, So it is difficult, because if you have Krishna is infinite and absolute, and Srimad Bhagavatam is already the supremely relishable, and when it comes from Shukadeva Goswami, it has become more relishable. So how can it become more relishable when it is already supremely relishable? So it is from the pastimes perspective, it is mentioned. Also, Srila Prabhupada has specifically given the understanding that he has not repeated as he just heard those word to word, but he understood that the people in Kali Yuga, their level, all of us, our level, and then based on that, because it is his realized knowledge, he has presented in a way that we can actually receive it properly, and then we can get fully benefited. And that is how it becomes even more relishable for us.
Thank you very much.
But still, we can't hear from anyone, right, Prabhuji? Like Bhagavatam, even though it is ripened.
It is coming. Just give me a moment.
Okay.
I will just, in the next 15 minutes, we'll try to complete this, and that is
Thank
how
you.
that will be answered. And Srila Prabhupada mentions this. I'm just repeating his words. So in this verse, it talks about rasa. So, Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. Rasamalayam. So, rasa is mentioned. So, Srila Prabhupada mentions there are these 12 rasas which are there. So, rasa is the taste that we can get in something that is there. For example, the fruit is there, mango is there. So, the mango juice or the pulp that is there, that is very tasty. And that is the rasa. That is something that you can enjoy in that part. So taste derived from our sense perceptions. And there are 12 such rasas which are there. And out of them, 7 are secondary rasas and 5 are primary rasas. So Shantaras, which is neutrality, Dasya, which is the servitorship, Sakhya, which is the fraternity or friendship, Vatsalya, which is the parenthood, Shringara, which is the conjugal love. They are the 5 primary rasas. And then there are 7 secondary rasas, which are this Raudra, anger, Adbhuta, wonder, Hasya, comedy, Veera, which is chivalry, Daya or mercy, Bhayanak, which is horror, Bibhatsa is shock. So all of these rasas which are there, 7 secondary rasas and 5 primary rasas. We'll read now again, there is a problem. My page 58, we are going to read the second paragraph, which starts with the sum total of all these rasas. Who is next? Who wants to read the sum total of all these rasas? That paragraph we are going to read to understand more about these rasas.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I read?
There were a few others who had already raised their hands, Mataji. Okay, so first one was Shama Mataji.
Hare Krishna Babaji. The sum total of all these rasas is called affection or love. Primarily, such signs of love are manifested in adoration, service, friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love. And then these 5 are absent. And when these 5 are absent, love is present indirectly in anger, wonder, comedy, chivalry, fear, shock, and so on. For example, when a man is in love with a woman, the rasa is called conjugal love. But when such love affairs are disturbed, there may be wonder, anger, shock, or even horror. Sometimes love affairs between two persons culminate in ghastly murder scenes. Such rasas are displayed between man and between animal and animal. There is no possibility of an exchange or rasa between a man and an animal, or between a man and any other species of living beings within the material world. The rasas are exchanged between the members of the same species, but as far as the spirit souls are concerned, they are one qualitatively with the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the rasas are originally exchanged between the spiritual living being and the spiritual whole, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The spiritual exchange or rasa is fully exhibited in spiritual existence between living being and Supreme Lord.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So here what is mentioned is that rasas can be exchanged, and Srila Prabhupada gives this wonderful example of the conjugal rasa between a man and woman, and how sometimes when it goes wrong, then it can turn into this bhayanak or bibhatsa rasa as well, and it can turn into murders or whatever. So the same rasa, it actually gets converted. But the most important point why we read this paragraph was that rasa can be exchanged between similar species. So it is not that when we crack a joke, the cockroach also laughs, because that comedy that we have done, they are not able to understand it. Only another human being is going to laugh. Even if there is a monkey, which is like, as per the scientist, we are coming from monkeys, but even when we crack jokes, they don't laugh, right? So the rasas can be exchanged between the similar species. Lord and us both are spiritual, so we can exchange rasas. Lord is Akhila Rasamrita Murti, his reservoir of all rasas. And that is where, if we want to exchange rasas, then we can actually get that taste or this enjoyment, like that so-called enjoyment that we are looking for. If we serve the Supreme Lord somehow or the other, we are only automatically going to get satisfied, because he is Akhila Rasamrita Murti. But the only thing is, our focus should not be how I can be satisfied. As long as our focus is how the Supreme Lord can be satisfied, we are going to also enjoy the rasa which is there. Automatically, we will get that. So by cooking the bhoga for the Supreme Lord, the idea is that I'm cooking it for you, Lord. But isn't it that we also get prasadam, his mercy afterwards, and we enjoy that prasadam, we honor that prasadam, and our senses are also satisfied with that. All like the prayer that we do just before honoring prasadam is that Sharira Vidyajal. All of that we actually mention. So no time to actually go through the entire prayer and explain, but you understand. Most of you are reciting that prayer. So intelligent people should or would want to get the pure original spiritual rasa, not the material replica, which is the fake. This rasa that is there in this material world, that is just a replica of this original one. It is fake one. And this rasa is so amazing that even liberated people like Shukadeva Goswami, they want to relish this. It is appealing to all. So whether we want to be self-realized or we are already self-realized, it is still relishable. Other processes, even the process of yoga like Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, their prayojan and their abhideya, they are different. They are doing this gymnastic, Ashtanga Yoga or whatever. But the whole purpose is that they want to merge into the Brahman. And when they merge into the Brahman, at that time they are not doing Ashtanga Yoga. Or Jnanis, they are sitting together and reading Vedic knowledge and debating with each other, and then trying to be detached from everything. But that is their process, like Jnani. So they are doing something which is their abhideya, but when they get liberated and they go back to into this, they merge into the Supreme Brahman, absolute truth. At that time, they are not doing the same activity. But for Bhakti Yoga, it is different. Whatever we are doing now, the same thing even in the liberated stage, also it can continue. Even when we go back to the spiritual world, we can continue Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So these are the processes that we follow now, and these are the things that we will go and do in the spiritual world as well. So this is an amazing part of this spiritual life. So that is why this verse is actually inviting all of us and saying that, come, taste the sweetness of this ripened fruit of Vedic wisdom. There is so much rasa which is there. And in the purified state, like when we become purified, at that time, we will get more and more rasa. But even in our contaminated state as well, we will keep getting the rasa of it a little bit, depending on how much unenvious that we become, that much rasa that we can get. So what we can learn from it, those points that I was mentioning, how we can relish Srimad Bhagavatam. So first of all, Srila Prabhupada mentions in these three purports some points which are coming. So he's saying that hear from the right source, coming in the bona fide disciplic succession. So this is very important. So he clearly says that we should not be hearing from professional people running Bhagavad Saptaha as business especially. And how to identify them? That because some devotees may also do Bhagavad Saptaha. So how do we identify that there are these professional reciters whose Bhagavatam we should not be hearing? So how to identify them? He has mentioned. First, they use Srimad Bhagavatam for their livelihood. They will charge you that if you want Bhagavad Saptaha to be done at your place, here 10 lakh rupees or whatever, so many $1,000 or whatever. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not for Artha, Kama, Moksha. Already it is said it is beyond this cheating religion. So how can someone use Srimad Bhagavatam for livelihood?
Is your class going to be finished?
I need to. Okay. Fine. So first is they are using Srimad Bhagavatam for their livelihood. The second is they directly jump to the rasa dance without going through Srimad Bhagavatam sequentially. So they are using it for livelihood. They are just directly jumping to this, which the audience will. Amendra Prabhu, can you keep yourself muted? Yeah, thank you. So Srimad Bhagavatam they are using for livelihood. They are directly jumping to the rasa dance because they want to entertain people. So they know that they will get more and more sense enjoyment their audience. That is why they will directly jump to the Krishna's pastimes and especially the rasa dance as well. And the third thing is they are not following the example of Shukadeva Goswami. They are not from the right parampara. Their activities are not aligned to the activities of devotees. So that is why we have to carefully see the activities of the devotees. And when we have faith, okay, they are coming from this parampara and they are practicing what they are preaching. From them, then we can hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So here we are actually hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Srila Prabhupada. We all know his life is glorious. We have seen his activities and his preaching. They are perfectly aligned. And that is why I have actually chosen these three books from which I am referring to. But most of the points that I have referred to, as you can, if you read the purports, you can see that I have just reorganized and put them together for you. But otherwise, all those points are directly coming from Srila Prabhupada's purport. Some I have taken from Bhujan Prabhu's books and from Gauranga Darshan books. I have faith in these devotees, and based on that, I am presenting this knowledge to you. So hear from the right source coming in the bona fide disciplic succession. Then the next point Srila Prabhupada mentions is we have to be patient and we have to have submissive hearing. So patience is required. Otherwise, when there is some cantos like Canto 2 comes, which is very technical, we think that, oh, Krishna, what is this going on? I don't understand anything. And then fifth canto or second canto, where there is this technical details of how the material world is created and this very detailed description of the material world, universes that is there. It becomes like, when is this going to finish? But it is said that we have to be patient. We can't just skip them. We have to go step by step and then go to the next one. So patient hearing is required and submissive hearing. Don't go to Srimad Bhagavatam in a challenging mood. We have to actually have submissive mood to Srimad Bhagavatam. And then we can get the best out of it. Then the next thing which is mentioned is with great respect and attention, we should hear. Great respect we have to show to Srimad Bhagavatam, and we have to have attention. Just like we talked about how not only Parikshit Maharaj is with great respect and attention he is hearing, but also all these sages who are sitting there, they have great respect for the knowledge as well as for the speaker, and they are hearing it with attention. If we do not have a lot of faith in Srila Prabhupada, then we will not get benefit from the knowledge that we are receiving from him. So with great respect for the speaker and with the great respect for Srimad Bhagavatam and with very rapt attention, we should try to hear, and then we will get the most out of it. The next point he mentioned is receive the lessons from Srimad Bhagavatam in our life. It is not for hearing for 2 hours like a spiritual entertainment and forget about it. Try to take it in your life. Accept Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is Krishna, so take Krishna in your life. He and his devotees are passing on this knowledge so that we can become unenvious. We can become closer to Krishna. Without accepting him, like if we create a big wall, then how will we accept him? How will we absorb that Krishna consciousness which is coming from there? So we have to open our heart, receive these lessons into our life, and make our life perfect. When we do all of this, then we will come to the purified state, and then we will relish the rasa fully. So at that time, when our original constitutional position will be revealed. So at this point in time, we do not know in what is our original mood in which, like the 5 primary rasas, which is there, Shanta rasa, Dasya rasa, Sakhya, Vasalya, or Madhurya. In which mood actually we are there in the spiritual world, we do not know at this point. So that is why Srila Prabhupada recommended that just follow the Dasya rasa at this point in time. And he has given this process by which we can get purified. And once we are sufficiently purified, our original constitutional position in which we are supposed to serve the Supreme Lord, that will be revealed. And then we can relish the rasa fully in that pure state. So that is how Srila Prabhupada has very wonderfully given this process to us. How he has given the book Bhagavatam, which is Krishna. He has presented Krishna everywhere. And then he has also given the process by which we can access him fully. So that is what I wanted to share today, everything that I wanted to share today. So we will pause here, but we will take some questions or some comments or some reflections from all of you. Yeah, Paminder Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Really nice session. One question I had from your earlier conversation for Lord Chaitanya conclusion opinions, where Arahanta you mentioned, how you mentioned, and other like Granas and Artha. But what I like might be good to get some insight from you in future lessons is Upasana, like it says that which is performed by Vajagopis. Upasana should be like that. So,
Oh, okay. So the 5 conclusive truth, and we talked about how the worship that is done, what is the highest worship, and we talked about how we have to, the highest is that how gopis worship the Supreme Lord. When we come to the 10th canto, slowly, sequentially we go there. When you come to 10th canto, we will understand how gopis are worshipping the Supreme Lord and what we can learn from it. So sequentially we'll go step by step, and then we'll learn that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Rajiv Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My questions on, the guidance that Prabhupada has given us to be patient and submissive hearing. The whole ethos of, the history that we have is, there's a whole lot of Q&A, and it only comes in if you are willing to seek rather than just believe someone. So I can't settle with submissive hearing because it feels like you are not allowed to ask questions. It's just that this is what you're supposed to believe and carry on with it. So the rest of the guidance seems
point,
okay. It's just why submissive?
Yeah, I understood. So submissive doesn't mean that not asking questions. So now here as well, we are actually going on with question and answers, and we are allowed to raise hands and talk about it. Now, when we actually start from the fourth verse onwards, we will see that there are lots of conversations in Srimad Bhagavatam, and hundreds of questions are asked. We have seen Bhagavad Gita as well that we went through together, Rajiv Prabhu. We saw that Arjuna asked so many questions to Lord Shri Krishna. But the only difference is asking questions and asking questions in a challenging mood is different thing. So Arjuna is asking questions submissively, having faith in Krishna and saying that, okay, please explain to me. Asking in challenging mood is that I don't trust you, I don't believe you, and I want to actually prove that you are wrong. That is why I'm asking you a question. So those questions, or if that mentality if we have, then we will not get benefited, because even if we get answers, we'll not trust it. But when we ask questions submissively, then when we get the answer, we will actually progress. And we are allowed to ask even sub questions, that even after the answer is given, as long as the mood is that I want to progress, I have faith, and I can actually get more clarification so that my faith becomes stronger and my doubts are removed. With that understanding, if you are asking questions, those questions are allowed. And those questions, you will see hundreds of such questions in Srimad Bhagavatam. Even like the topic for this chapter 1 itself is, what is the name of the chapter? It is questions by the sages.
By sages, yeah.
So the Bhagavatam starts with questions. So how will Bhagavatam say that you cannot ask questions? Bhagavatam is saying that you can clarify your doubts. It is starting with questions by the sages. It is only submissively asking the questions, having faith. Only then the answers will benefit us and we can progress further. Is that okay?
ठीक बाबूजी.
Okay. Aparna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Please
Right.
excuse my voice. So thank you so much for this wonderful session. I've got two quick questions from verse number 1.1.2. Is that okay? I promise they are short questions. The first question you mentioned, the first question is around the point you mentioned, Prabhuji, that while reading Srimad Bhagavatam and relishing, we start to focusing on Krishna rather than focusing on ourselves. Yeah. So in the present situation, like whatever we are doing, like what I'm doing as a sadhaka, like, following four regular principles and doing, those chantings and things like that. Is it enough to say that we are focusing on Krishna and not ourselves, or can we do more of anything to make it work like that?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, definitely we have to think about Krishna when we are doing all of this. Just the example of yesterday, Nirjala Ekadashi. So if we are doing Ekadashi and we are doing austerity, the whole point of doing the austerity is that we can go closer and closer to Krishna. But if for the whole day, when we are doing this austerity, if we are only thinking about food instead of Krishna, then we have defeated the purpose. We have this glorious example of Sannivas Prabhu. I think he chanted 112 rounds or something yesterday on the Nirjala Ekadashi day.
128.
28 Prabhuji. 128.
128. Isn't that amazing? So that is what it means, that when it is Ekadashi, we have to go closer to Krishna. So this is the consciousness that we should have when we are doing any activity. That if this is the devotional service or some of the process which is mentioned, and we are sadhana bhaktas, we know that we are sadhana bhaktas, we are practicing devotees, and while practicing, not everything will be perfect, but our aim should be how we can become perfect in that devotional service, how we can perfectly keep Krishna in the center. And slowly by practicing that, we can make that perfect, keeping Krishna in the center. So that is how it can happen. So just like when we are chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we can always meditate on many of our to-do activities, our office work. We can meditate on many other things which are not relevant, but we will not meditate on Krishna. So that is why we have to keep practicing, and we have to make conscious effort that how we can hear the sound vibration. Because holy name, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, is not different from Krishna. And when we are hearing it and meditating on it, we are accepting Krishna through our ears and then allowing him to go to the heart. So that is our practice. And also the meaning of the Maha Mantra is, we all know that we are asking for service from Srimati Radharani and Krishna so that we can develop love. So automatically, if we actually meditate on this, the meaning of the mantra, the sound vibration of the mantra, then we can do that. 4 regulative principles or any other austerities or whatever that we are doing, that is mainly for that all those 4 activities which are there, they are considered the best sense enjoyment available in this material world. And we are saying that, hey, I want to actually be removing myself from the center. So what others are thinking that is enjoyable, but the scriptures are saying that they are the abominable activities. I will not worry that, okay, I like those, but now I'm going to give it up. Because we have faith in the scriptures, we have faith in the Guru, we have faith in Srila Prabhupada. So that is how we take those instructions seriously, submissively, and then start implementing them. So similarly, there are many things like you have just recently studied Nectar of Devotion as well. So in the Nectar of Devotion, there are so many 64 items of devotional service which are given. So any of those we can do, but the whole purpose is having the right mood, keeping Krishna in the center. Okay, we can do all those 64 activities, keeping ourselves in the center as well. For example, even doing deity worship, we can keep ourselves in the center, even though we are worshipping Krishna or worshipping Gaur-Nita in this. But when we are doing the arti, we are thinking how wonderfully I am doing this arti, and how other people can notice that I am the best pujari. So how wonderfully I have actually moved my hand while offering the diya, how wonderfully I have put the water back, and how wonderfully I have sang, or whatever. All of these things, again, putting yourself in the center, not putting Krishna in the center. How wonderfully I am speaking, not putting Krishna in the center. We have to say that, oh, this is Krishna. So Krishna is automatically already Akhila Rasamrita Murti. As long as you are not blocking that rasa by your own anarthas, automatically other people are going to be relishing this Krishna Katha. So this is because Krishna is relishable, it is automatically people are going to love Krishna Katha and they will love Srimad Bhagavatam. They will want to hear. So as long as this mood is there, then our endeavors will be successful in service of Krishna. Is that okay?
Yes, marvelous. Thank you, Prabhuji. Is it okay if I go for the second question as well?
Let us give a pause and we'll ask others as well now.
Sure. That
If
sounds
there are
fair.
any other realizations or comments or questions that they have, any summary points or anything that that you liked, that you would want to implement,
Thank
some
you, Prabhuji.
realizations. Thank you, Mataji. Adi Devi Mataji.
जल्दी आते रहो.
Prabhuji, my question is like right now you mentioned about it's a bit of an extension of your statement about where you mentioned that we shift the focus from ourselves to Krishna. Like many a times in workforce, there may be times where we are enlightened enough by Krishna to perform well and all of that. How do we, in that circumstance, maintain that mood? Because it is very easy to be swayed and sort of be puffed up, and sometimes we have to even like to be in the material world demonstrate that attitude, sort of the competitive attitude, so to say. So internally, how do we maintain that focus and center that Krishna is the doer? And
Yeah.
it's a
Thank
very
you, Mataji.
time.
A
Yeah.
very good and very relevant question. That on the spiritual side, the books are telling us that we have to be non-competitive, non-envious. But whereas the material world, it is promoted, like how we can compete with each other, how we can, like it doesn't say that we should envy, but by saying that we have to compete, we are already envious, isn't it? Like even when we say to our children that you have to actually get the best marks in the exam, and you have to stand first for you to get the first rank. Automatically, the child is learning that, oh, this other person is getting, if they get better marks than me, then I will not get the first rank. So somehow or the other, I have to pull that person down. If I can't learn more, then I can pull that person down somehow or the other. So we are teaching in this material context that how can we become more competitive, how we can become more envious. Srimad Bhagavatam is teaching us that we don't have to be a different person when we are with the devotees and when we are in the material world. Srimad Bhagavatam is teaching us that we have to become purified, whether we are actually dealing in with the other people outside, which are not devotees, and when we are dealing with the devotees. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that we allow other people to walk over us. So as you can see from the example of Arjuna, he is fighting the war. He is not saying that, oh, I am very humble. And the meaning of humble means I can't shoot arrows to others, on others. He understands that the difference is that this is my dharma. I have to protect the dharma. I have to protect all these other people in my kingdom. And for that, sometimes I have to actually act or do some act of so-called violence. So he understands it because he's taking the right guidance. So similarly, when we are in the material world or we are dealing with in our offices or whatever, we can be as non-competitive, as non-envious as we can. Because otherwise what will happen is we are only with devotees, say 1 day a week, like on Sunday feast or Saturday feast, for few hours we are associating. And if we are associating more, that is nothing like it. So only limited time we are practicing the way of non-enviousness or whatever, but most of the other time, 19%, 95% of the time, we are in the material world practicing enviousness, competitiveness. Which one we can keep? If 95% we are envious and 95% we are competitive, and 5% only when we are with the devotees, we practice the non-enviousness or non-competitiveness. Which one would win and which one would remain with us? What do you think?
Obviously, 95%, Prabhuji.
Yes, because that is the challenge. If we are practicing that more, we are going to retain that more. And we want to get purified. So how can we get purified if we actually are duplicious here, doing differently and doing something here? So you be yourself. You be a devotee. You be a kind, compassionate person everywhere you go. And that will be felt by people around you. That will be felt by people around you. They can see that you are a different person as compared to others. They will appreciate you. Because with all the spiritual practices, meditation that we do, we also can go through the challenges very easily. When some other people in the office get very stressed out, they get anxious, the devotees are much more resilient. They can be like free of stress and anxiety. They know that I can only do the karma. The result is not in my hand. Result in Krishna's hand. That gives them this courage, this fearlessness, which is noticeable by others. So even by showing your good qualities, other people are going to notice that and you will not be at a disadvantage. And if people like Duryodhana are trying to usurp your kingdom, you can be Arjuna and fight with them. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Surananda Prabhuji. We'll take these last 2 points if and then we will pause.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. A few takeaway points, Prabhuji, from my end. Devotees' mentality should be nirvastaranam. Give up envy. We should be a well-wisher. Help other devotees to progress further.
Excellent. Yeah.
Another one, the more you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you will get better. Tutrubi Sakshanath. Is that right word, Prabhuji?
Which one?
The more you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you will get better.
That is correct.
Tutrubi Sakshanath.
Shushrushubi Tat Kshanat.
Shrushrubi, yeah.
Yeah, Shushrushubi Tat Kshanat means it is a culture of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam attentively. So yeah, as long as we can actually do that, then of course we will get purified by that.
Thank you.
More you hear, more we will become purified. Yes. Gaurachandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Just a comment, Prabhuji. Just like when you started the class today, you mentioned that how the Srimad Bhagavatam must be read systematically. So similar thing I was reading in Canto 2, Chapter 2 and Text 12, Srila Prabhupada in the purport mentioned that those who still have material inclinations, especially sex indulgence, they must not go past Canto 1 and Canto 2 of Srimad Bhagavatam. And also it said that they should only focus on the lotus feet. They should not even go to the higher, higher portion of the body. So it's very relevant to how you mentioned, and Srila Prabhupada confirms that those persons should not go past Canto 1 and Canto 2. They should read. As soon as they finish Canto 2, they should jump back to Canto 1 rather than Canto 3, unless and until we have material desires. So very much in line with.
Wonderful, wonderful. Very good point. We are going to go to Canto 3, 4, 5, 6 as well, though, Prabhuji. So yes, that's why I'm suggesting that we should all read together and hear attentively, and that is how we can all get purified by the end of Canto 2, so that we are allowed to go to Canto 3. Please pray for me as well, that I can also progress like that.
Thank you so much.
Sanyas Prabhu, okay, last point and then we can finish.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat.
Dandavat, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, that Lord Chaitanya's opinion, it was very, very nicely captured. Conclusion.
You have got now this potency, Prabhu, by chanting so many rounds. It has become like Akashvani.
No, Prabhuji, nothing.
It is echoing now into our ears.
No, Prabhuji. It's only because of the mercy of Guru and Gauranga and the devotees here, Prabhuji. They're all chanting so nicely. So
nice, Prabhu. Association of devotees is powerful.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. And yes, Prabhuji, the Lord Chaitanya's very nicely explained about that conclusive opinion about Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Prabhuji and Mataji's. Thank you for attending the wisdom of Srimad Bhagavatam today. We will finish here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Krishna.